Brandi Hitt.
And I'm Glen Walker. Welcome to the KTLA News at 6. Investigators say that changing gears now. Yesterday, it was hot and windy. Today, it's not quite as windy, but it is a lot hotter.
Yes, break out the sunscreen, okay? Let's go to meteorologist Jim Castillo. May Day marches are being held all around the world today, including right here in Los Angeles. Thousands of people hit the streets in downtown LA, and many do remember the massive melee back in May of 2007.
Groups marched for different causes today, and there were also groups marching for the same cause, but with differing ideas on how to achieve their goals.
KTLA's Chip Yost talked to organizers of two different groups, and both are pushing for immigration reform, but they have very different views. If you are looking for a new addition to your family, there is a group of golden retrievers who need a loving home, and these special dogs traveled halfway around the world to get here. Don't they look happy and also hungry? If you would like to adopt one of these golden retrievers, all you have to do is go to our website, KTLA.com, and click on the red info button. You'll find a link to the Southern California Golden Retriever Rescue site where you can fill out an adoption application.
Well, today was declared a day of prayer in the state of Alabama to remember the victims of last week's devastating storms.
The death toll there now stands at 342. And as Barbara Hall shows us, families are really doing all they can now to honor the victims. Who cannot get a break there. It's one of the worst years we've seen.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous. Here, though, boy, we were at the Festival of Books at USC campus today, and along with Jim, and it was beautiful, but it was hot, and all I got to say is, thank goodness we had a tent over us to keep us cool. Now, most of us probably think of our parents, grandparents, and aunts and uncles when it comes to church participation.
But in Gail Anderson's Sunday Gospel Report, she introduces us to a young choir that is using inspirational music to speak to a whole new generation.
Los Angeles police are looking for suspects following an early morning assault in the parking lot of the ArcLight Hollywood.
Police say several people sexually assaulted a woman who was hospitalized from the injury she suffered during that attack. David Begnaud, first day of May. Did we just say goodbye to spring and hello summer? Because I think we just bypassed it.
Said hello to allergies, I can tell you that.
I was going to say, you've been sniffling a little bit.
Oh, man, all day.
We have some problems out there, Jim?
The reason why you're...
Right now, authorities are searching for a suspected killer who is on the run in the San Gabriel Mountains. Investigators say...
Time out across California, and after taking a close look at the 2010 census, California did not grow as much as predicted.
The state's population...
I think she's prettier now than she was 15 years ago.
She's always been stunning, and she's a full figure, which is appealing to a lot of ladies and men out there. So.
Indeed. All right, this year's 49th Annual Renaissance Pleasure Fair and Artisans Market has returned to Irwindale.
With about 1,500 costume performers, lots of shows, and a lot of unique food and merchandise, KTLA's Olga Ospina gives us an inside look at all the fun. Okay, you have to give them credit for wearing those heavy costumes when it was 80, 90 degrees outside today.
I got a brother-in-law and a sister-in-law that are like totally into that. They go every year and they get dressed up and they're like, they love it.
Right in the middle of it all. And Jim Castillo, if you were out there in the heat, I'm hoping people were...
Playoffs. By the way, that vintage Laker video there brought back some great memories, but all I got to say is... nice shorts.
You like those shorts back in the day, huh?
Thank goodness they grew them a little longer. Yes. Thank you. We'll see you tonight, Steve. Coming up, Los Angeles.
All right, Jim. Okay, today, Brandi, Jim, and myself, we were all at the LA Times Festival. I'm Glen Walker. This is the KTLA 5 News at 10.
And I'm Brandi Hitt. America is rejoicing tonight. The major news coming out of the White House earlier this evening, Osama bin Laden is dead.
He wished to,
that is correct. And a woman who was actually used as a human shield.
I was going to say, we're getting so many more details. I mean, this is something the president mentioned started 9 months ago. This is a guy that nobody has been able to locate through 3 administrations, in fact. And today it came to fruition. We're getting reaction from Great Britain. But as far as tomorrow we look ahead, they're actually warning us of being vigilant for possible terror attacks and retaliation. What are you hearing about that?
Anti-American violence is what the State Department is.
He went over his speech and announcement with them.
Correct.
Maybe they made a few changes and said maybe you should say this and that.
Right.
Nice to see that kind of cooperation.
Indeed. I want to show you it must be like the energy to be in Washington, D.C. Americans who have watched for so many years. One person even tweeting and sending a text to
every single family that's been impacted and affected by 9/11. 3,000 lives lost. To hear this news today has to feel pretty darn good for some closure, David. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, David. All right, Osama bin Laden's demise, the talk from coast to coast and around the world tonight.
Dave Malkoff continues our live team coverage.
It reminds me back on 9/11. A colleague of mine, he was coming back from his honeymoon in France. They were halfway across the Atlantic, did a U-turn, went back, weren't told anything until they landed. Another colleague was also in Europe, and one of my neighbors, they landed in Iceland. and they were there for 4 or 5 days before they were allowed to come home. My mother-in-law, same thing. She was stuck in Canada for 3 or 4 days, and she landed at LAX. She was one of the first people to get interviewed.
And you wonder if, when you first land today, if it's really true until you actually see it on the news and find out. The rumor, it is a true fact. Osama bin Laden is dead. Dave also touched on something else, where he was killed. We want to get to Michael Intraligato, a terrorism expert from UCLA. Michael, thank you for joining us. What is your take on Osama bin Laden being killed, and of all places, Pakistan, not Afghanistan? And
in a affluent neighborhood on top of that.
My name is Michael Intraligator.
Okay.
And I'm a professor of economics, political science, and public policy at UCLA. I teach a course on terrorism, an honors course for our best undergraduate students. Now, to answer your question, of course, everyone's overjoyed by this, and rightfully so. But they should remember that Osama bin Laden is just a front man.
News and the word, the mastermind behind 9/11 and the most wanted terrorist in the world, Osama bin Laden, is dead. We got the word from President Obama earlier tonight. He was killed in Pakistan.
So just who exactly was Osama bin Laden, and what exactly was his motivation to, as he said, he wanted to destroy America? For more on the man who is finally gone, let's go into the newsroom, and Cheryl Gatwiza has a report.
And now we want to switch focus and look at those affected most by Osama bin Laden, the victims of 9/11 and the 3,000 people he's claimed to have killed, he being responsible for the 9/11 attacks.
Joining us now on the telephone is a gentleman who now lives in Pasadena. He was actually in the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, when the planes hit back on September 11th, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Kevin Danny now joins us on the telephone. And Kevin, first of all, your reaction when you heard that Osama bin Laden was dead.
Hi, how are you?
We're great.
We're great. How are you feeling about this news?
I am feeling incredible right now, as everybody in this country, but as a survivor from Tower 2 on 9/11, I still have chills as I...
Chief President Barack Obama, he delivered the news in a live address to the American people. And right now, we will show you the president's address one more time in its entirety. Of course, that was a replay of the announcement earlier tonight from the White House by President Barack Obama that al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind 9/11, has been killed in a suburb in Islamabad, Pakistan, an affluent suburb outside of Mansion, killed by the U.S. military and intelligence.
When we come back, we're going to get to your thoughts. I tell you, we got goosebumps here in the studio, and we heard it. The hairs just standing up on your arms. Twitter, all abuzz right now with patriotism. David Begnaud is live. David, what are they saying out there from the cyber? Exactly how he was taken down by U.S. forces. We're going to post that online on KTLA.com. And of course, don't forget to tune into the KTLA News at 4:30 tomorrow morning. This will be the talk.